what have I done? So I bought the iMac Pro in late 2020. The iMac Pro uses a design language that was made from the original iMac 27-inch. It does come in space gray, but the bezels are pretty thick for a computer to be used in 2020, and this chin at the bottom doesn't help. These accessories are also in the space gray, so you have a mouse, the Magic Keyboard along with a number pad, and the Magic Trackpad. The computer has some pretty good I/O, so 10 gigabit Ethernet, 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports, 4 USB 3 Type A SD slot, and a microphone port. Now, there is no door here like the iMac 5K to upgrade the memory, because it has a vents, because it has better cooling system. You can upgrade the memory yourself if you really want to. You have to tear up the whole thing though, which is unfortunate. The iMac Pro has a 27-inch 5K display with 500 nit brightness, P3 color gamut for 1 billion color support. Viewing angles are really good as well. Now obviously in 2020 there are some HDR high refresh rate displays you can get, but this display gets the work done. Next off, let's take a look at the sound, and I think you'll be quite surprised. Alright, so the sound on this is really good. Like, honestly, as you saw, you can actually distort a mic with the amount of bass this thing can produce. Now, obviously, it's not like a whole sound bar or home theater system, but the iMac Pro sound system is very usable, and I use it all the time to listen on stuff because it's enjoyable. It's not like crappy sound. In terms of performance, we're running a Cinebench R23, which is the latest version. And as you can see, we're running at pretty much full performance here, and temperatures are below 80 with 100% utilization, which is pretty impressive for these type of form factors. So as you can see, the multi-core is almost 12,000, and the single core is 1075. So looking at the chart here, single-threaded performance is decent, but could be slightly better. The multi-core is doing pretty good. The computer itself performs exceptionally well in video editing with everything running in real time. And the best part is, let's listen to the computer. You can't hear it. It's absolutely silent. Oh, and as an added bonus, if you happen to have Apple's Thunderbolt display still from years ago, it works perfectly. And the best part about this display is if you drag a window from one display to the other, it's basically the same size because the resolution on the 5K is basically twice the resolution of the 27-inch Thunderbolt display. And of course, for those wondering about the built-in SSD, the performance is pretty good. It's about the same as most standard NVMe drives like a Samsung 970 EVO. I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. You can buy a iMac 5K 2020 for much cheaper with newer components. So why would you buy this instead of that? Ironically, I actually bought the iMac 5K 2020 before I bought this, and I ended up returning it. And basically what happened was I bought the 8-core model with the 5500 GPU, and I had some video issues. Like the computer was having a GPU hardware failure from what it seemed like. And I could have exchanged it, but after seeing the iMac Pro in the store and playing with it, I decided to return that and instead get the Pro. And the reason for that is, first of all, thermal throttling. The iMac 5K instantly thermal throttled within like 10 seconds. It was instantly hitting 99, and I don't like that because when I want to edit videos, that's just going to slow things down. Like if this computer is thermal throttling, it's going to slow down. Same with the iMac, it was just slowing down. The second one is fan noise. Believe it or not, the iMac is actually completely opposite from the iMac Pro in terms of fan noise. It is loud, and the fans are almost constantly on, for me at least. Whether I'm doing Logic Pro X, Final Cut Pro X, anything I did. I mean, the only time I probably didn't hear them was when I had like a couple of tabs open in Safari. Open Chrome with a few tabs, fan noise again. So if you're really important, it's really important for you to record audio with silence, you're going to want an iMac Pro. If you want a device that doesn't thermal throttle and you want full performance constantly, you're going to want an iMac Pro. I know the price justification is much harder because for I think $32.29 or something like that, you can get like a fully decked out, iMac with basically similar specs to this. A 10-core, the highest GPU, 32 gigs of RAM. That's with paying the Apple tax on RAM. So it's hard to justify the iMac Pro. I got a $400 student discount on mine, so it definitely makes it less of a hit. And ever since Apple made the 10-core Xeon the base model, instead of the 8-core, it definitely makes it a much more justifiable machine. Another thing I forgot to mention is the iMac Pro can be configured up to 18 cores. That's a lot of cores. That's how much my gaming desktop has. And I will tell you that it's probably overkill for most people, and it's way overpriced. But that is an option. So if you need all that performance in this type of a form factor, the iMac Pro allows you to go up to 18 cores, or 14. And the RAM, 256 gigabytes, and it's ECC memory. That's another thing to keep in mind, is the memory on the iMac Pro is ECC, error correcting, unlike the iMac. So it technically is a pro machine. Like, the Pro on this device actually suits the device for like one of the first times. I don't know, when I bought this MacBook Pro, that Pro didn't, really go well with the device. 16 gigabytes of soldered RAM max. Things are different now. And be sure to subscribe, because M1 MacBook Air versus 2017 quad-core i7 MacBook Pro versus iMac Pro. That's the next video. We're going to take a look at the M1. So with that said, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Next one will be the M1 MacBook Air. So I'll see you on the next one.